Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today we will talk about the fight between social media platforms and the government. The fight between Twitter and the government of India started when the farmers' protest was at its peak in January this year, and the final showdown came recently. Twitter finally had to comply with the government's new rules even after it maintained that freedom of speech would be affected. In the agenda today, we will try to analyze why there was such a big fight in the first place. We have with us noted cyber security expert Pawan Duggal and advocate Rishipal Singh. But before we start our conversation, have a look at this small report.
On 20th February, the Government of India announced new intermediary guidelines or information technology rules. It gave social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram 3 months to comply, which was 30th May. Among the new things to be done was appointing a grievance officer to whom any objection can be conveyed by user for redressal. The new rules were issued after the government found Twitter and other social media platforms being misused during the farmers' protest on Delhi's border, which began in November last year and peaked in January, with some elements storming the historic Red Fort on Republic Day. While other social media giants complied with the new rules announced by the government, Twitter was reluctant in doing so. On the day of the deadline, that is 30th May, the Delhi High Court said Twitter will have to comply with the new information technology rules for digital media if they have not been stayed. Justice Rekha Bali issued notice to the center and social media platform Twitter seeking their stand on a plea by lawyer Amit Acharya claiming non-compliance of the rules by it. While Twitter claimed before the court that it has complied with the rules and appointed a resident grievance officer, the central government disputed the claim. The court directive came against the backdrop of major fight between the Indian government and Twitter after the social media giant alleged intimidation tactics by the police and asked the government to respect freedom of speech. The central government hit back, accusing the US-based company of trying to dictate terms to the country and said it will have to comply with the laws of the land if it wants to continue operations in India. Court also giving no respite to it, Twitter has finally announced the appointment of grievance redressal officer. Bureau report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Mr. Duggal and advocate Rishipal Singh. Welcome to the program, both of you. So I'll first go to Mr. Duggal about the fight between Twitter and the government of India. Like Twitter was very reluctant to all that what the government wanted to do. Was it justified in the first place?
See, quickly understand that in India, service providers and intermediaries have had a golden run. They have always been treated with great amount of soft love approach, almost giving them a special status. So they have actually come to believe that that's their default normal. The absence of adequate regulation on the intermediaries in the last 1 year has further emboldened them to think that they can actually go about doing anything and not even comply with the basic law of the land. And that's the reason why we find that there is a distinct pushback. Most of these service providers have enjoyed this great honeymoon with Indian cyber law, where they've actually been okay with non-complying with parameters of Indian law. But now for the first time, the IT Rules 2021 asked them to comply with parameters of the IT Act and also stipulate liability for them. Then it opens up new Pandora's box of problems, issues, challenges. They suddenly find that they will now have to spend far more time, effort, energy, resources to ensure these compliances. They also realize that if they don't do these compliances, the top management is exposed to criminal liability. And therefore, chosen to find some extraneous way for the others, is to either challenge the Indian law or to provide legal challenges, that somehow try to work in the direction of postponing the applicability of an implementation of the Indian cyber law. That explains the reason why, because now with these new IT rules 2021, the service providers and intermediaries would be required now to put in more monies, get more personnel, put in place a grievance officer, a resident grievance officer, a chief compliance officer, chief nodal, and then also have to come up with appropriate, effective dispute resolution mechanisms of ensuring that all disputes and all grievances raised by users are adequately protected, are addressed in 15 days the day they've actually been received. And more so in the context of content which is obscene, which is pornographic, or which contains artificially morphed images, that kind of a content is required to be pulled down by the service provider, by the rules within 24 hours.
Right.
They don't do this 24 hours time limit compliance, and then they get exposed to criminal liability. Hence, that Section 7 or Rule 7 of the IT Rules 2021 clearly say that if the intermediaries do not comply with the IT Rules 2021, they are liable to be punished for various offences under the Information Technology Act 2000 and also under the Indian Penal Code. Further, the statutory exemption from legal liability that's been guaranteed to the intermediaries under Section 79 of the IT Act shall stand withdrawn. So clearly, intermediaries have everything to lose and nothing to gain. They go ahead and comply with these rules. So therefore, they want to put everything in their power and possession to somehow postpone the applicability of the enforcement of these rules to the operations of the day-to-day businesses in India. That's the reason why this pushback happened by service providers, Twitter, like WhatsApp.
Right. So, Mr. Rishipa, I come to you. As you heard Mr. Duggal saying about it will open Pandora's box. I think it will open it. I mean, now we have a grievance officer. He has to address all the grievances, whatever. So, if I have a complaint about your tweet, so I will complain to him, and he will be flooded with such maybe thousands and lakhs of complaints or whatever. So, where does it end then?
Okay, as far as the law is concerned,
yeah,
and everyone has the right to raise his voice, and everyone has the right to complain about anything which is going against him,
yeah,
and which is going a wrong thing against him.
So it may it may be against you or it may not be against you. I mean that it may be. I mean you may have tweeted something which I am opposed to. Yeah.
That is why these are the officers. These are the officers who work like as a judicial officer, as a like quasi-judicial officer. They will adjudicate the matter. Whenever a person comes and he will give the complaint, he will restore the entire complaint and seek what is the grievances and how the grievances can be settled. If he finds that the grievances are false and these are just fabricating, so he can that particular officer can reject the complaint. But these are the rights, and these are this is the time when these companies, these online companies are making so much money in our country, and they are making so much money. They are providing the access for information. But on the other hand, if one person is affecting, if two persons is affecting, their right, Constitution has given the right to protect them. So they have to set up the entire system which can provide the complete justice to any victim.
Yeah, but it will take time to verify whether that allegation is correct or verify bona fide or not. Suppose if I tell you that, I mean, if somebody, let me complete. So if somebody has posted a video of some cremation ground, so somebody else may be opposed to it and object to it and raise a complaint. So where does it? So whether it is verified bona fide, or is it against the rules? But I mean, these are the jurisdiction issues.
Mr. Khan, now these all things are very new things in our society.
Yeah.
And the system of grievance, the system of complaint are all new. So we should, as well as guidance and concern, this person will see who is right, who is wrong. So let the procedure go on. If these procedures have a chance to improve, we can improve if after some time we think that particular guideline, particular law, particular person is power or wide power, or we can cut the power of that particular officer. So these are the things which need to start.
Right.
And after some time we will have a position to improve in the improvement field.
Yeah, we hope so. So, Mr. Duggal, I come to you. So, when we talk about what is right and what is wrong, so recently we saw one tweet of a BJP leader being labeled as manipulated by Twitter, and I think it raised a huge hue and cry. But at the same time, if you go back in maybe 6 months back, in USA, the incumbent president, when there was that storming of the Capitol Hill, the incumbent president's Twitter handle was suspended by Twitter, and there was no huge hue and cry there. So some people say that government of India is overreacting. What do you say?
I think as an intermediary, it is duty bound in Twitter to exercise due diligence while it discharges obligations under Section 79(c) of the Information Technology. As part of due diligence, when I look at the overall mechanism of the IT rules 2020, it's very clear that they have to put in place adequate proactive mechanisms so as to avoid the publication of such content which is in violation of law. So it is well within the right of a service provider to say that, look, this kind of a media is manipulative media, but they'll have to give reasons why it is manipulative media. But having said that, it does not really lie in the mouth of the in the agency of the government to say, look, please explain how you've given a particular manipulative media to particular content. Because that's weakening the entire cyber legal frameworks of the country itself. Whether there's no legal foundation on which such a request for clarification can be so made. Yes, there's no doubt that Twitter has been very, very powerful. If you can actually suspend the Twitter handle of a sitting president and get away with it, then you get a feeling that you're just above the process of law. Then you can go ahead and try to do anything. Now, but clearly, the messaging is very clear. The Indian cyber law is supreme in India. The government is a sovereign government. And further, if they have to operate in India, they have no choice but to comply with Indian law. So that's very, very crystal clearly written under Section 175 of the IT Act. Whether they are physically located in India or not, it's of no consequence. The moment the services are available on computers, computer systems, or computer networks physically located within the territory of India, they get covered under the Indian cyber law. So, and in a scenario like this, therefore, it becomes essential that these stakeholders have to start realizing that if they have to make the Indian market, exploit the Indian market commercial considerations, then they must be prepared to comply with Indian law. If they are not going to be prepared to comply with Indian law, then they should be prepared for criminal prosecutions in India, because Rule 7, the IT Rules 2021, clearly say that you don't comply with these rules and your company and your top management are liable to be prosecuted and punished for various offences under the Information Technology Act 2000 and under the Indian Penal Code. But more significantly, if you as an intermediary don't comply, you're effectively playing with fire. Why? Because Rule 7 is also saying that the statutory exemption from legal liability that the Indian cyber law has promised to you under Section 79 of the IT Act shall stand withdrawn, which means that the immunity that the law has provided to you will be taken away. Effectively means that you are now going to be exposed to a myriad for litigations, lawsuits, and criminal complaints. So in a scenario like this, I think it will be prudent for companies to start ensuring compliance with Indian cyber law, the rules and regulations made thereunder.
Right. So here we have to take a short break. You please stay tuned. We'll come back and continue the discussion. We are discussing about the fight between social media, particularly Twitter, and the government of India. So I'll go to Mr. Advocate Rishipal Singh. About you heard Mr. Duggal. So do you think about that social media, particularly Twitter, they have crossed the red lines of the Indian laws, or what do you say?
I really think so. They are not doing as per their requirement. As far as the law is concerned, what the law now, one important thing which I would like to share with you.
Yeah.
Now, as far as these new guidelines and new laws are concerned, that law is for providing the security for the privacy. Privacy is very important in these laws. In order to protect the privacy, these laws are coming in the enforcement. when the Twitter and other companies, they are not providing they are not complying, or they are not providing the adequate information, and they are not complying with compliance which are as per the law. This is a very, very serious issue, because entire guidelines which I have seen thoroughly, these all guidelines are in order to protect the privacy of a person, of an institution. There are a number of provisos. There are a number of provisos where they can be guided, Your Honor. And you will kindly see in these guidelines and guideline 3 and subsection 2. There is a special provision that these companies within 24 hours they have to provide, and if the nature of any material which expose the private area of individual. So whenever a private area of individual is at stake, so these are the laws will come in force. So in this case, Twitter, like other companies who are not following the law, who are not coming forward, who are not doing compliance, they are really doing illegal act, and they should punish. Because whatever the companies are doing, they are making money. But as far as the law is concerned, they have to follow the law, because no one is above the law.
Yeah.
And the law is, and the guidelines is made for the benefit of the public.
So you think the government did whatever government did is, because some people say it was an overreaction, or government whatever it did is fine. I mean, going to Twitter office, sending police there, and all that.
If they can go to the court and they can raise the objection, the particular guideline, the particular provisions. They are not raising an objection on a particular provision.
Yeah.
As far as the giving information on the originator, the person who is the originator, they have to tell who is the originator. So what is wrong in that? If a wrong content is coming on the website, and if a wrong information is coming, in that case, every state has a right to know that who is the originator,
right,
or on that originator who is doing illegal act. So there is nothing wrong in that.
Okay. So Mr. Duggal, then when we talk about the originator and who originated whatever tweets or messages, so then comes into the play the toolkit issue. So can you explain for our viewers what is the toolkit? I mean, how it can be misused?
A toolkit basically refers to a collation of different tools which are used for the purposes of fulfillment of particular object. Clearly, toolkit in the context of the internet talks about collation of different web tools, web sources, web materials, which can be used for a variety of purposes. Now, a lot of people have a conception that the moment you mention the term toolkit, that itself becomes illegal. Nothing like that. A toolkit is never legal or illegal. It's the usage of a toolkit for a particular purpose that will determine whether it will be legal or illegal. So if you're using a toolkit for the purposes of targeting the sovereignty, security, integrity of India, friendly relations with other nations, public order, decency, morality, or to prevent the commission of any cognizable offense, then in such a scenario, your toolkit could come into trouble. But if it is a legitimate toolkit which is for legitimate purposes, assisting people doing their legitimate functions, then the law has got nothing to do with this. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of toolkit cases lately happening. People have got different confused images about what is a toolkit. In the context of the farmers' protests, a toolkit matter had come up. Now, these are nothing but various tools which are disseminated at one place with web links given to them, so that people don't have to go helter-skelter, try finding out these tools independently, and then trying to come up with their own collation.
Yeah, it started with the farmers' protest. So I wanted to ask whether that toolkit was misused at that time, which apparently was. What do you say, Mr. Duggal?
Well, right now the matter is still under investigation. The police has registered a case. We'll have to wait and watch. But clearly, if you are using a toolkit for the purposes of targeting the Indian nation or targeting the Indian government,
or inciting violence,
then clearly you are disobeying. The Indian Constitution allows you various ways of constitutional tests which you can do. But if you start using the tools available on the internet for purposes of targeting computer systems, networks, or for purposes of influencing public policy in manners that the Constitution has not really envisaged, then that could be coming into grey zone. Now, if you use a toolkit for purposes of targeting governmental agencies, ministers, political leaders, government policy, in a manner that is not in consonance with well-established norms. That is also going to come with a potential problem.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rishpal Singh, I come to you about the sovereignty issue as Mr. Duggal raised about. So, if criticizing government or some minister for some work, is that attacking the sovereignty of the government, of the country?
This all issue are matter of judicial adjudication. Whenever the issue raised.
No, because why I am asking this question, because there are some fears that the government may use this tool to maybe target some people.
No, Mr. Kaur, these are just the presumptions. In anything, if any person, any company receive a notice for that particular purpose, he can go to the court. He can challenge the notice. But before that, raising objection and raising all these all are the presumption that the minister and the politician will misuse these law. This is not good. Everything is completely written, and as per the law is concerned, that law is completely settled, and everyone has a right to go to the court to challenge the provisions, and even in particular notice.
No, Mr. Rishpal Singh, we have to close. So maybe last question. So why I'm asking is many people, if you see WhatsApp forwards or maybe sharing of Facebook posts, many people don't understand the legal nuances. They may be just forwarding. No. They got a message, whatever. Because you see so many people just forwarding messages. So are they legally liable?
See, this is last few days back, Bombay High Court given one judgment regarding in WhatsApp matter. The admin is not entitled for any contents, any information.
Earlier admin was held responsible. Yes.
Yes. But now the admin is not, because admin cannot be visible at every time.
Right.
Information can easily come in the group. So in that case, even in the new guidelines, everything is taken care of and everything is written. Anyone has a problem, he can go and see the guidelines. The guidelines says that how you will do, and in case you have grievances, even there are a number of provisos. Even whenever a question will ask regarding the originator, only this order can be passed or notice can be issued by the competent authority.
Yeah.
Only by the court, not by a minister, not by a politician. So they cannot this law cannot be issued, and they have right. These all companies have number of better lawyers, and in anything they receive notice, and they think that notice is wrong, they can go to court.
Yeah, it will only increase court cases. So, but
see, this is a matter of right.
It is a matter of right. I understand it is a matter of right, but in a country like India where so many people are illiterate and ignorant, they just forward messages. So, Mr. Duggal, one last comment from you. So, when we talk about a country like India, when people they don't understand the legal nuances, maybe this is harmful, this is harming the nation or against the government, they just forward messages. So, are they liable, or it could be dangerous for them?
When I look at the IT rules 2021, the moment you forward a WhatsApp message, or you forward a social media, you will be deemed to be publishing, transmitting, as well as causing things to be published and transferred.
Yeah.
That being so, the chances are you will be deemed to be providing a service with respect to third party, and you become an intermediary. Therefore, and as per my reading, if you are forwarding any such message, you will be liable under the IT rules 2021. So, handle information.
People will have to be careful. Yeah, people will have to be careful while forwarding messages and
just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If a person is seeking for right, he must know his duty.
Right. So, because I am talking about the illiteracy in people. So, but I guess people should be more aware and more cautious and responsible. But the program time is over. Thank you both of you for participating in this debate today. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important and interesting topic same time tomorrow. Till then, bye. Take care and stay safe.